3, 2, 1.
Hello, my fellow cigar lovers and addicts. Welcome to another exciting episode of Fogies Freaky Friday Show. I want to thank you all for coming and joining me again on a Friday night. Kind of nice. We got all that hype from 4th of July over with, and all that's all done, and just kind of getting back to some normalcy. And hope everybody had a good week this week. I had I had a pretty crazy week this week, but I'm really excited to just finally get some downtime and kick back with y'all and enjoy a nice stogie. Hey Guns, what's up, brother? How's that frog juice treating you, man? Are those as good as everybody says that they are? Really kind of jelly. I've heard that that's a pretty decent stick. I got a couple of things tonight that I'm wanting to try. Had one of them for a minute. So tonight I'm going to be smoking on the 2026 Chimoly Pangu, and this is the new Double Corona. That's what I'm jamming on tonight. Hey, Mr. Cash, what is up, brother? Glad you can make it to the show tonight. Hope you have had a better week than me, my friend. I truly do. Yeah, me too. I'm just kind of hanging out and getting myself situated. Hey, aficionado, what is up, brother? Glad you can make it. Yeah, so I've smoked the regular Pangu, and hey, doctor, welcome to the show. Doctor says he's partying tonight, so right on, man. Kick back, everybody check in. Let me know what you're smoking on. Let me know what you're partying on. Like I said, I'm just gonna light up this 2026 Chimoly Pangu Double Corona. I got some of these when they first came out, and really excited to smoke this because I love the Chimoly line, and I really like the Pangu. And with this one being such a big old stick, I'm really looking forward to it, and it should last for a while. So definitely looking forward to that. Well, happy birthday, everybody. It's Dr. Rise and Grind's birthday today, 47. So dude, you're just barely 10 years younger than I am by just a few days, man. Wigwag, what's up, buddy? Glad you could make it. Glad you're here. Yeah, that's awesome, man. 47. So you should be partying, Marvin. You should be really jamming on something decent, and I hope you got a really good stick to smoke on, and something really good coming out of the bottle to get your freak on, man. Get your freak on. That's funny. I had that set to roll, so you setting the tone for that. So Anyway, Punch Bottle Rocket, Year of the Snake. Right on. Yeah, so you just hanging on to the frog juice for a little bit. That's cool. Yeah, I've got a lot of my new Dunbarton stuff just kind of chilling out. But let me get this thing chopped and charred here. I can get on with my experience because I need a cigar, guys. I'll tell you what, it's been another one of those weeks that I'm just like, what the hell, you know? Just do a nice straight cut on this thing tonight. Wigwag, I did get a chance this week to check out a bunch of the stuff that you got going on your channel. Really impressed, my man. That's you're way deep into that hobby, and you got some cool stuff going on, man. I've seen, a lot of a lot of your little goodies that you paint up and do your thing with, and it looks like you're making some of your own parts and stuff that you need, and this, that, and another. So that's really cool. And I saw that you guys had a get together. So Wags is really into model trains, and they had like a YouTube get together with some of the people that he shares that hobby with. And how did that go, man? Was it everything that you guys hoped it would? Did you get, was everybody as cool in person as they were in the chats and stuff? Well, you're welcome, man. You've been a good supporter of the channel, and I love having you here with me on Friday nights. And like I said, my grandpa was really, heavy into doing the train thing, and it's definitely something that I, kind of miss messing with. So you really got it going on. Right on. Yeah, that's another thing I noticed. I I picked up on the Canadian accent, eh? you know, Made me feel like I wanted to go to the Great White North and get me some back bacon. That's awesome. How many people would you say, you know, ended up being there total? Did you have a good group of guys show up? Gals, I'm sure. Hmm. Marvin, what'd you do for your birthday today? I hope you didn't have to work. You guys got like plans for later tonight, or are you gonna just go out this weekend and do it up big, or what kind of birthday plans you got going on, my man? Wow, 30 the first day and six. Man, that's a big group, dude. That's that's a lot of people to meet up with. I can't imagine getting together with 30 to 60 of you guys and freaking getting together and smoking cigars and doing things. Man, really good, dude. Um, Smooth French exhale right off the bat, just nice and smooth. Um, not super spicy, really liking it thus far. Of course, I've had their regular Vitola. I think it's a it's a Toro or a Robusto. It's not. I think it's a Toro, and this one's the Double Corona. But yeah, just right off bat, lighten up good, and I'm really enjoying the taste on it. What's everybody else smoking on tonight? Hopefully something good. I know last week after my show, I did my red, white, and blue smoke fest for 4th of July, where I had the Opus X Forbidden Magistral 13th, and then I had the Legends, the Fuente Legends. I had the Padron version, and then I had the Opus Society. That cigar was really good, and those had some age on them already. And to be quite frank, I wasn't too pissy about paying $90 for that cigar. It smoked for a really long time. It was really complex. Just kept washing my palate with flavors, and man, it was good. In fact, I think I almost liked that Society better than I liked the Legends. But the Legends was different. Those Legends cigars, they got something. They got something going on with those, And I still have to smoke the Fuente blend, and I know where I can pick up a couple more if I really like them. But I don't know. I think it's just going to be kind of one of those deals where it's like I'll just smoke one of each and say I did it, and unless it just blows my damn doors off, I'm not going to trip on it too much. Yeah, yeah, and Chimoly's doing some really good things. In fact, I even like that Fox blend that they did for Fox cigars. That was a good one, man. Right on, man. Those little Thunder Kisses are surprisingly good. And you can pick up a little bundle of those for pretty cheap. They're not you know crazy price, and they're pretty available. I mean, when they first came out, everybody was kind of hyping them a little bit, and everybody bought them up. But like, I know Cassie, she's got 3 or 4 little bundles of them just sitting around, and you can always grab one or grab a bundle. So they're pretty readily available, and I like it. Just a quick little smoke. Is it anything spectacular? No, but is it a solid smoke that you're going to really enjoy for the amount of time that you're going to smoke it? It's perfect for what it is. I really, really like it. Kind of doubling up, so I got me a double espresso. This is some single origin Peruvian coffee that I pulled. Actually, triple shot. This is a triple shot off of this. Just going to kind of sip on that a little bit because I've been gorking out on coffee since I got home from work. And then, of course, I got my 1919 root beer to kind of wash everything down. Yeah. Yeah. It's hard to beat that. You know what I mean? And perfect Vitola, I mean, if you don't just sit there and drill on it, you can easily get, 40 minutes out of that cigar, for sure. And at that price, buy you a bundle and, throw some in your travel humidor, or, just keep some handy for a quick little stick when you don't have a lot of extra time, for sure. But I do like these. And I like the Pioneer too. The Pioneer is probably my second favorite. But I mean, they're rolled well. It's really good tobacco. Just a good solid smoke. I mean, this would be a great, like, after lunch. Go out, uh, eat a nice, big old thick club sandwich, and head outside and puff on this thing for a while when you got an afternoon you don't have shit to do. Would go really good with a light lunch, or some fish. This would go really good after some fish, for sure. I got, so I'll tell you a little bit about my week this week. I had, Creekside. I don't know. I'm not sure. Creekside in Drums, PA. I don't know. I'm not sure where they're at, buddy. I'll have to look that up. How's the truck coming along? Well, the truck is pretty much done. In fact, after all of the, okay, Creekside is in Ohio. Thank you, aficionados, straightening us out on that. So after all the bullshit that I had hit me this week, and just, and I'll tell you a little bit about that later. But the shining star, was the last finishing touch that I've been waiting for on Dirt Vader. And, a lot of times when you go to retrieve one of these, it's always some huge fiasco, and it's like Black Friday. But anyway, it is done, because now I have my old fogey tags, my personal plates, and I've been waiting for that. So got that on there, and I wanted to get Dirt Vader, but I couldn't get it, but I thought, what the hell, might as well get old Fogey on there, and it is what it is, so I'm really happy about that, and glad to get that done. Thanks. So I really don't have anything left to do on the truck, other than just some suspension stuff, and replace some axle seals, and change some diff fluid and stuff like that. But I'm doing okay now. I'm not leaking, and I'm not making any noise. So I'll wait till it cools down. It's too freaking hot to be working on vehicles right now. So, oh, right on. Nice. Had you posted anything on that, Guns? I hadn't seen if you posted anything on getting that. Man, that's good. I'm glad I let these sit for just a little bit, because this thing is just smoking perfect. Perfect. I think I hit it with the old Cigar Medic, and it was right at about 61. So just right where it needs to be. So anyway, I'll get back to my against all odds week. I had to struggle and triumph and just try to do some shit because for some reason God kept messing with me this week about money. And it wasn't anything like really bad as far as like not having enough or anything, but at certain times it did. Wag says he needs to visit Creekside soon. He missed out on the meetup last week. Yeah, because you had the other meetup. Well, right on. Yeah, eventually I would like to try to find some place where, we can all, get together and have some smokes and find a cool place to hang out and do our thing and, meet everybody in person. I think that would be totally badass. Oh, right on. So you got a baby shark. I didn't get any. They were gone. My dude was supposed to save me a couple of them, and he forgot, and so I missed out on those. But I look forward to seeing that. It should be a good video. So yeah, I just had a lot of crazy shit happen this week, and a lot of it was work related. So we've got like our some of our what they call our state survey, where the state comes in and goes through our houses and checks everything out and checks all the records that everybody's been keeping on all of the clients, medical records and all the weights. They have to weigh them and they have to log everything. So they check on that, but then also with the houses and stuff, I've had some stuff to get rid of out of some houses, get some dumpsters set, get some stuff done, and then also had to basically go take all of my entire fleet and get oil changes on everything because nobody's been taking their stuff to the oil change place that I set up for them to just drive there, go get it done, and made it easy for everybody, but they still weren't doing it. So I spent a shit ton of time this week taking, vans in for oil changes. And then I found a bunch of other stuff that was wrong with stuff that nobody bothered to tell me or put on a spreadsheet or anything. So I was kind of a little upset about that. You know what I mean? It's like, just don't, you're driving around you're driving around in a brand new 2024 Pacifica, and I got a broken windshield in one, or I got another van that's got, freaking lights on, or transmission mount clunking. And I was just like, what is the deal? But the worst thing that hit me this week on that was, so I called this company in Kansas City, and I think they're a national chain. It's Safe Light Auto Glass. They're like, the most expensive people in, in the windshield game or whatever, auto glass game. And I've used them for a lot of years. I mean, I got some other people, but company deal, and I don't have to mess with it. So I called to make an appointment to get this windshield replaced in this 24 Pacifica. Wednesday, they were supposed to come out and replace it on location. Their tech shows up, they pull it out, they put the new one in, blah, 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 you're done. Because I just didn't have a whole lot of time to mess with it. And then, so they called me that day and was like, hey, our tech called in sick to work today, which that seems to happen a lot at a lot of places, man. There's a lot of shit that's not getting done in this world these days because nobody gives a shit about going to work, I guess. So I was like, okay, well, when can you do it? And they're like, well, we could have him come back out next week. And I said, no, I got to get it done this week. It's got to be done because we got survey coming up and I can't have cracked out windshield in a van that you guys are driving people around in. So he's like, well, we got our Independence location. You can take it over there. He's like, I can schedule an appointment for 8:00 in the morning. They've got the glass in stock. And I was like, okay, let's do it because I got to get it done. So I ended up driving the van home and got up early so I could smoke it all the way over there and take it in. And I get there and the dude's like, well, I kind of got some bad news. The window that we got for you, it's broken. And I'm like, what? I'm like, how's it broken? I mean, you guys, that's your business. I mean, ain't you got racks and shit like that to bring a windshield without getting it all broken? I'm talking like a, $600-700 windshield, and, he's like, no, he's like, I'm sorry, but he's like, I can get you another one, but he's like, you're looking at probably two more hours before we can get it. And I'm like, well, just do it. I got to get it done. You know what I mean? I got to have it done today. I don't, I can't keep spending a bunch of time messing around with this shit. So anyway, a couple hours later, I come back at the agreed upon time and drop the van off and get my wife. I call her. I'm like, baby, come get me and take me over to my service truck. So I'll have my service truck and then I'll just have somebody run me up there and we'll do the old switcheroo with this. So she makes a special trip to come pick me up. And then 20 minutes later, after I drop this van off and my wife's got me over to my other truck and I'm gone, I get a call from these some bitches again. And they're like, well, Mr. Terry, I hate to tell you this, but this second window that they brought us, it's kind of delaminating on one of the corners, and we could put it in for you, but you just won't have a warranty. And I'm like, what the blue fuck, no, I'm not gonna have a freaking $800 window installation with no warranty, and I'm like, oh, dude, it did, and I'd already done all this shit, and with the cancellation and all, it was messed up, Wags. Let me tell you, and damn, dude, and I'm like, this is bullshit. You know what I mean? You canceled me yesterday. And then today I come and then I leave and then I come again. I've had to, rearrange my life and my schedule, and these clients has got to go places and shit, and they need that van, what the fuck? And I got a little upset and I said, well, I'll tell you what, man. I said, you want to make this right with me? I said, you can give it to me for with no fucking warranty, but I want it for half price. You know what I mean? And so the dude's like, well, let me ask my manager. I already knew what the answer was going to be, but I thought I'd haggle with him a little bit. You know what I mean? It's like, fuck. And I was just out of time. I got to get this done. I got, other vans I got to go take care of and other shit I got to do. And so anyway, I go back up there. I'm like, hey, I'll be there in a minute. Just give me a second and I'll be right up. And so I get up there and he's like, yeah, sorry, Mr. Terry. I'm like, well, let me see this window. Let me look at it and see how bad it is and whatever it is. And they got it all laid out on the rack, and it looked like somebody dropped it. You know what I mean? So the little rubber edge around the corner was pulled out, and right on the very edge of the glass, you could see bubbles, and somebody dropped the damn thing is what happened, And I'm just like, oh my God, and I said, dude, I said, what can you do for me? You know what I mean? And he's like, well, I tell you what, he's like, I'll give you $100 off. And I'm like, I was like, dude, $100 isn't worth all the fucking time and trouble you fucking caused me. You're going to have to do better than that. You know what I mean? And he's like, well, he's like, that's an expensive windshield. And I was like, well, it ain't worth fucking shit now because it's fucking broke, you know? And it's like, I was like, you're going to have to do better than $100. And he's like, well, that's all I'm prepared to give you. And I said, well, I said, if that's all you're prepared to give me, I said, then I want you to give me your regional manager's name and their phone number, because if you can't do any better than that, then maybe they can. And this fucking kid, and he's probably, I don't know, 25, younger kid, just looks at me right in my face and he goes, no. And I'm like, what? I'm like, I'm asking you for, somebody else in the company to talk to, and you're telling me no. And the way he said no, he was talking to me like I was a fucking 5-year-old. And that really pissed me off, man. Really, really pissed me off. Yeah. I was like, yeah, give it to me for 50%. But then I was pissed, and I'm like, oh, no. You know what I mean? I said, I want their fucking number. You know what I mean? I said, this is bullshit. I said, you done canceled the other fucking, the remote, the location install. And now this is the second fucking time I've been back up here today. I said, this is bullshit. And he's like, well, that other one was from a different store. And I said, it doesn't matter. You're all the same fucking company. You represent the same fucking company. You know what I mean? And so he starts getting lippy with me, and he's like, well, you're not going to talk to me like that. And I said, motherfucker, I'll talk to you however I fucking please. You know what I mean? I said, you have wasted my fucking time. You have no idea the lengths that I've had to fucking go to get this fucking van up here 3 different fucking times. You know what I mean? And, and I said, I want that manager's number. And he's like, well, I can't give it to you. And I said, okay, fine. I'll call the fucking corporate office then, motherfucker. And he's like, well, you're not going to talk to me like that. He said that again. And I said, yeah, fuck you. I'm just going to go call your corporate office. And he's like, I want you to get off the property. He's like, you get off my lot. Or I'll have you trespass. And I'm like, oh, really? We're going to fucking go there with it now, motherfucker? Oh, shit. I said, you just fucked up. I said, you really just fucked up, because I said, I'm going to fucking wreak havoc on your shit, and I'm going to fuck your shit up. You know what I mean? This is fucking ridiculous that this is escalated like this. All you had to do is give me a fucking name and a phone number. You know what I mean? And, hey, Donuts, what's up, brother? And so, yeah, I was pissed. I was so, man, my fucking blood pressure, my blood was boiling. I was fucking angry, And so I was just like, okay, just get the fuck out of here. Just fuck it. You'll find somebody else. And, but just the gall on that fucking kid, and what shitty customer service and a way to treat a customer that's been, buying fucking windows from you for over a decade, and, man, you're absolutely right. You know what I mean? They don't take pride in their work and all that stuff. And he's just flexing his little bit of muscle and his little bit of what the fuck ever in his little realm of power or whatever the fuck he's got. And I don't give a shit. I just want a fucking window put in the van, man. God damn. And so I did end up calling the corporate office and got with them and explain the situation with them, and I said, if this is the way your people are, I said, I'll never do business with you ever again. You know what I mean? Oh, and that was another thing the kid said. He's like, well, we'll never do any work for you ever again. And I said, you're goddamn right you won't. You know what I mean? I will not be bringing my shit back here. But I got a hold of the corporate lady and told her all the stuff. She's like, yeah, that's not cool. And she's like, I'm going to get with the regional manager and have them get in touch with you and blah, blah, blah. And I said, it really doesn't matter at this point. I said, what's done is done, but you need to realize that you got somebody out there that's fucking running off your customers because they're being an asshole, So anyway, got that taken care of. I found somebody else that's going to come put it in next week for half the fucking price. And then, been dealing with some more cabinet countertop bullshit and trying to get stuff paid for at Home Depot. And paid for one set of countertops, was like $8,000, and then I had another one that was like $5,200, and I went to go slide the card in on it, and they wouldn't take it, and I'm like, oh my god, what the fuck? And I was like, okay, so I called the controller, my accountant, is like, hey, I need a check for $5,100 and change, and so I go run over back to the office, get that check, come back to Home Depot, give them that, and then it declines it. It declines the check, for God's sake, And I'm like, I have written shit tons of checks in here, in the last 3 months for way more money than this. I don't understand what's going on. And so So they had to call Telecheck and get all that shit going. And it just got that going through. And then today, so I get a brand new credit card, got it activated, everything's all good. We had some new countertops put in the house today, and I'm waiting around on that to get done. And I had the sink there, and I had a new cooktop there and everything to install, but I had to go get a disposal and some plumbing and stuff because I didn't know what all exactly I was going to need for to put the sink back in and everything. And I go to Lowe's in Raymore and get about $400 worth of shit in the cart, to go put this thing in and finish this up so I can finish my week. And these people aren't without a sink, and the fucking card declines. My brand new card that's activated, that I used it at the car wash a couple days ago, but it wouldn't go through. And I'm like, oh my God, this is just so fucking ridiculous. So I had to get on the phone with the credit card company and be like, what the fuck, And it just, oh my God, dude. So it's been a very trying week, money wise. You know what I mean? It's just like nothing's worked out. Nothing has gone good in that way. And I'm just like, holy shit, what is the deal with this? I'm getting fucking tired of it. And, and then gals at the office, I'm trying to talk to the bean counter today, and they're, well, she's on the phone, and I'm like, I know. I said, put me through to her and page her to whatever. She's expecting my call. She knows I'm going to call her back, and they didn't. And then that really pissed me off. So I was like, okay, well, guess what? They're just going to be without a sink all weekend, and then y'all can explain why that this shit didn't happen to the big boss when she comes back on Monday, because I'm fucking going home. I don't give two fucks. You know what I mean? And yeah, dude, it's just, these man, it's just, nobody wants to fucking work. Nobody wants to do anything. Everybody's always coming up with excuses and reasons why they can't fucking do their job or they can't get something done. And these contractors that these big box places and shit get, it's just like they pretty much just they pay them, they gave them a piece of the job or whatever, and they pay them to be contractors for them. And it's just, and they just, nobody wants to fucking work. Oh, well, that's got asbestos, sir. This is this and that's that, and we can't. There's mold there, and we can't put that counter. Yes, you can. Just put it right over that son of a bitch and glue it down. I don't give a shit. I just want it in there. You know what I mean? And yeah, literally, it's been the year of just too much shit. Ridiculous. Yeah, I hear you, Mr. Cash. It just, I'm not even supposed to be in any kind of management or anything. You know what I mean? I'm a freaking maintenance technician, and I'm doing all this shit and having to deal with all these problems and do all this stuff. So I'm ready for a damn vacation. Yeah, canceled on you like 4 times, and then you finally got your money back. Yeah, I had them cancel on me because the contractor didn't want to do one of our countertops because they had to do a tear out, and the old countertop was tile, and they didn't want to do all the work, so they just refused to do it. And oh my god, dude. And just, people, well, we can't finish this because this or whatever, or flooring. I've had to deal with the flooring. And then I've even had it where, like, okay, so they're going to give me my money back, and then they fucking they give me a refund on a different job. Not the one that's fucked up that they didn't do or refused to do. So then I got to go back and I got to repay for the one job and then get the refund. I mean, it just trips and trips and trips all over the place, phone call after phone call and visit after visit to try to get anything fucking done. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Hey, fuck, Uncle Sam's going to pay us $1,000 a week to sit at home and, smoke off, like, fuck. Nice. Hey, thanks, dude. So this background that I got now, this is the skyline of Kansas City. So this is this is the Kaufman Center Performing Arts. This is where they have like the symphony and they do like a lot of plays. And this building's really fucking cool. And then these towers, this is all Bartle Hall, and there's all cables and shit coming down, holding up this big old giant fucking expo center. And then, like, this building, let's see, this building right here, this is the old Kansas City Power and Light building. And this is KC1, which that's the tallest building in Kansas City. And then this one is Bank Midwest building, what used to be the AT&T Pavilion. And I shot this picture out of a suite that we had one time at the Sheraton Hotel off of like the 12th floor, 10th floor, something like that. So I thought, yeah, that'll make a good one. So you're ready to leave, and you got something to stow your sticks. You got some goodies to take with you, I know. Yeah, it is. And it's, and at this point in my week, and, I've been going in at 5 and 6 o'clock every morning and working until 4 or 5 every day all week because my partner decided that he wanted to extend his vacation and took that off. And oh my God, so I've been by myself all week with no help. And I was just done. I was just frustrated. And I was like, yeah, I've reached my breaking point, and I don't even give a shit. I'm going home and could. Less. Hey, Daniel, welcome. I've seen you've been smoking a little bit. You've been posting some pictures of some good looking cigars. You back to enjoying some sticks, buddy? Oh, you're welcome, my man. Enjoy those. There's some goodies in there, and they're all they've all got some good age on them, and they're ready to smoke. You know what I mean? You got a stick for just about every occasion for your vacation, and it was my pleasure to be able to do it as a thank you. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say you said something like you weren't able to smoke yet because you're just dealing with all this health stuff. Did you end up going back in the hospital on the ninth or no? Yeah. Gunn said he had a huge bunch of branches rip off of a tree in high winds and almost took out the new AC. Oh my God. Wow. Well, you lucked out on that. Yeah, you lucked out on that. That would have really sucked. We've had some bad storms and a lot of rain and shit this week rolling through Missouri too. Well, that goes right along with what we're talking about. Motherfuckers not wanting to do what they say they're going to do. So he was supposed to go back in for some kidney stone stuff or something, and they had it scheduled, and they just didn't even do it for it, man. Hey, what's up, Mob? He is. Oh, you got a Umagog, right on. Well, that's great, man. I'm smoking on the Chimoly, Pangu, the Double Corona, the one that they just released at PCA this year. You go back on the 12th of next month, right on. Are you feeling any better though? I mean, are you able to just chill out, or are you still hurting, or what's going on? Oh, okay, that's cool. So it's just kind of an after thing to get the stint out. Well, that's good. Well, I'm glad you're doing better. Yeah, hopefully you'll be able to you know come over and hang out, and we'll smoke up some stuff. Oh, it's good, dude. In fact, the normal Pangu, the Toros. Um, I think this has got quite a bit more flavor than that, and it's just so cool for such a big cigar. Getting really, really cool smoke, and it tastes really, really good, Mo, for sure. Well, that's good. You didn't get rained on, did you? At least we've had a little bit of respite in between the rain, but damn, it's made it hot and it's freaking humid, man. Crazy hot this week. Gun's got a big surprise. Looked at the lawn crew, removed the stuff. Oh, right on. Well, that's cool. And way to be. Now there's somebody who's on the ball. There's somebody that you're paying money to and shit, and they do that little extra for you to help a brother out. You know what I mean? Now that's customer service. That's the way shit should go. You shouldn't even have to ask somebody something if it's in their little wheelhouse of what they got going on. Just do it. Just get her done. Man, that is good. And uh, it's mellow. You know what I mean? It tastes good, but it's real light. And it's getting a little bit better as it goes along. You know, I can tell that it's kind of picking up speed a little bit, but it's almost got like some floral or citrusy notes to it. It's really kind of acidic, but in a good way. And it's not sweet. You know what I mean? It's not a sweet cigar. Hey, Bobby, what's up, brother? How are you doing, my man? Good to see you tonight. What are you smoking on, Bobby? This is the 2026 Chimoly Pangu, the double Corona. Really good, Daniel. If you've never tried Chimoly, man, you need to at least try them. They're really good. Hey, you out on us already, man? You must have had a hard week too, buddy. Well, glad you could pop in for a minute. Always good to see you. Keep the good stuff coming out. You know? He's been putting out some stuff. I think you did the video on the blue this week, the My Father Blue. Um, yep, pretty good. Just keep doing what you're doing, and thanks for coming by. Have a great weekend, aficionados. Appreciate you, brother. Definitely. Yeah, it is. The thing I like about the My Father Blue is it's just a fresh take on the Honduran tobacco. You know what I mean? It doesn't really have that pungent taste to it that a lot of Honduran cigars do. I like the blue, especially let them sit for about 6 weeks and they're about perfect. They're just a solid stick. You know. Oh, did she? Right on. Well, I'll definitely have to go check that out. Well, there is. I mean, you're never gonna smoke it all. You know what I mean? You'll try stuff. There'll be some things that'll work out good for you, and it just kind of is what it is. But let me move this down a little bit so I'm not so freaking up in the shit here. There we go. How my chin ain't all in the chin. I ain't got the chin chat going on. Yeah, I'll definitely have to check her video out and see what's up with that. I got that cigar. One of my locals had it like right as soon as I heard that they were even out, and they had a couple 3 boxes of it, and I was like, I'll try them, and I've sent some out, and some of my bombs let everybody else try it. I know Marvin never got to try it before, and I sent him a blue, and I think he liked it pretty well. You know, last week we cut down all the trees I thought would be a problem because two time had damaged stuff. SUV. Oh, dude, yeah, that is not that is not good, dude. Not at all. Yeah, it's almost like I don't want no trees. If it wasn't for some shade, I don't need a tree. Hell, your insurance company don't even cover your shit half the time nowadays. You know what I mean? If shit falls on your house or whatever. Have I ever had a punch? I have not. I have not ever smoked any of the punch stuff yet. One of those deals where, like Daniel says, there's so many things I want to try that I just haven't had a chance to do it. And yeah, and I've got a nice like clump silver maple in my backyard that just puts the greatest shade over my deck out back, and I hate it because it always got the little buds, and then it's got helicopters, and sometimes it's got helicopters a couple times a year. Well, this is the first year in probably 10 or 12 years that I've lived at this house that it didn't drop no helicopters this spring. I don't know if it was just because the weather was kind of weird or whatever. You know what I mean? Gunn says he smokes the punch. Okay, bet. Yeah, I would love to. I'd love to try one. Something that you've smoked that you think is a good one. That's the other thing. There's there is a lot of brands, there is a lot of stuff that you want to try, but all the different blends that all these manufacturers have, it's like, you know, you go broke about 2:30 in the afternoon trying to, figure out what one cigar or two cigars out of a line that you like the best, So getting a recommendation and somebody sending you something that that they like, that's the way to go with it for sure. But getting close. I was talking with my son last night, and he's taking vacation the end of this month, first of next month from Costco. And he gets, let's see, like Wednesdays and Thursdays is his normal days off. And he's been bugging dad about going playing pickleball. I think I said that before, but he's like, Dad, we gotta go do some pickleball, and I want to maybe go do some fishing and stuff. So I think I'm gonna actually take the last week of this month off, and I think it's like the 27th through the 31st or whatever. And then I'll have a weekend, then I'll have a work week off, and then another weekend. So it'd be like 9 days off in a row. And I really need it. I have just been pushing myself way too hard, and work's been really stressing me out because I'm still trying to get all this shit done for the lady that's selling the company. But that's my job. You know what I mean? That's what I do. That's my work ethic. You know what I mean? I could just be like, oh, well, fuck it. She don't care. She's selling out on us, blah, blah, blah. Well, no, there's still work that has to be done. And there's still things that are my fucking responsibility that I take personally, and I work for these clients anyway. You know what I mean? These guys all got a pretty shit lot in life handed to them in a lot of different ways, but they're great people, and they deserve the best that I can give them. They deserve my hard work. So that's why I do it, to make sure that their quality of life is the best that I can possibly make it. Oh, you had one come through on the 4th and flood the basement. Oh, dude. Yeah. Well, but yeah, it's still just, a bunch of bullshit and extra stuff that you're not ready for. I mean, that's one of the things about being a homeowner too, Yeah, kind of. It's fucking it's guns, it's wiffle ball tennis with a shorter fucking court and some little bit different rules, and you just use these paddles and fucking these wiffle balls, and everybody goes nuts about it, I guess. You know what I mean? But I'm I'm too fat and old to run around a tennis court anymore. So this would be a little bit more my speed, and I like playing sports, and I like doing shit like that. So and plus I get to spend some quality time with my son, doing something that he loves and something that he's really into and really passionate about. So that'll be a really good part of my vacation that I can look forward to. You know. Yeah, pong. Yeah, like ping pong standing on top of the fucking board, on top of the table, something like that. I don't know. And it's got rules of this and that, and I don't know. I got a something about a kitchen. You can't stand in the kitchen or something. I don't know. It'll be interesting to learn something new and just see what the hell that it's all about. Well, that's good. You know, Uh, and it sucks. You know, if you got wet basements and you gotta like go pump out shit and you gotta deal with all that and shit gets ruined. I mean, I've had irreplaceable media and picture albums and shit like that get wet from stuff like that, and it just fucking disheartening. You know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's pretty much here to stay. Donuts. I mean, everybody's on it. There's pickleball courts everywhere and businesses that are all about like I said, we got the chicken and pickle and we got a couple other things, and a lot of these churches are starting pickleball leagues and converting gymnasiums over into pickleball courts and just all kinds of stuff, man. So, I mean, it's got to be pretty cool, but you know um is it going to be the frisbee golf of tennis? You know what I mean? Is it going to be to tennis what frisbee golf is to golf? I don't know. Maybe not. We'll see. But I may have to get some video of my old fat ass trying to run around and hit these fucking things and give y'all a good laugh. you know for sure. We got yeah, you know what I mean. Oh, Mr. Cash, he's already visualized it. He's cracking up and shit for sure. Yeah, it is kind of almost like badminton. You know what I mean? It's just a real small little court and you know paddles and shit. I'm glad we didn't have pickleball when I was a kid, because I guarantee you my ass would have taken a fucking pickleball paddle to the ass over and over and over again. You know what I mean? Just been something else from my fucking pops to fucking whoop my ass with. You know what I mean? Uh, yeah, I think so. I'm looking forward to it, Mr. Cash. I think I'm really looking forward to it, and it should be a good time. And nothing else, I get to spend some time with my son. That's the main part of it all. Oh, I guarantee you, Ron, he'll be kicking my ass. This kid is serious about it. He goes and plays every week, and he spends like I spend cigar money on pickleball shit and balls and all this crap and shoes and yada yada yada. You know what I mean? Yeah, yeah, for sure. But and then I think I'm actually going to get to go fishing. I'm going to take some days. I'm going to go down to my sister's and do that shit. Go down to the big lake, put some trot lines out, throw some jugs out. In Missouri, if you're fishing with just rod and reels, poles, you can only have three. But if you're fishing with trot line or jugs, then you can add 30 hooks onto that. So you can fish with 33 hooks. So I want to get some catfish in the freezer for the rest of the summer, man. I'm missing it, and I want to definitely have some fish fries coming up later, on in the summer. And I don't give a shit. It's my vacation, and that's one of the things I've been wanting to do. I haven't hardly got to fish at all this year, so yeah, exactly. Of course, I don't know, dude. My boy's like 6'3", 275, strong as hell. Must have been all that fucking McDonald's I fed him, like growth hormone and shit. you know. like a human Tyson chicken, goes from being a little baby chick to full size chicken in about 2 weeks, Oh, you're off tonight. Right on. Oh yeah, dude, that'd probably kill your shoulder. That'd be a hell of a long ride up there, brother, for sure. Uh, I don't know. I I'm glad you're off. It sucks that you get miss that trip. Um, man, I read something this week. I don't know how this is or whatever, but I had heard that O'Reilly's is putting in like some kind of what do they call that, acquisition package to buy out Napa Auto Parts for like $10 billion. That would be wild, man. Some little mom and pop fucking place from uh, Springfield, Missouri turns into the biggest fucking parts dealership in the country and starting to go global. That would be crazy. Smoke and Steel. I am not. Smoke and Steel podcast. I'll have to check that out, Guns. Is it pretty good? Yeah, I'll look forward to it. I mean, I've seen a lot of punches, and I'm sure they've got some good stuff because they're everywhere. You know what I mean? There's a lot of uh, purveyors that sell the punch. Yeah, I just read it this week. Because O'Reilly's now is up to 6,000 U.S. stores, and then if they buy Napa's got 10,000 stores, and they're global. You know what I mean? They are not just in the US, they're all over the fucking place. And plus you'd be picking up that NASCAR team, you know. But 10 billion. The other thing I heard is that like, so Napa's got the auto parts, but then they also have like an industrial parts for like kind of like a Granger or something like that, where they've got like parts for machinery and industrial applications. And they were talking about maybe splitting that. So I don't know. They said they may do that, but O'Reilly's is definitely in the hunt to buy out Napa, which that would be crazy. Right on. Man, I wish I could still ride, dude. I miss it. I was next to some dudes riding today, and I was like, shit, I wish I had my sight, and I wish I still had my bike or any of them. I'd take any of my bikes that I've ever had. Oh, no shit. Huh. Speaking of humidors, so I'm in the seasoning process of my new setup thing, my new experiment, if you will. And I got another week to go. I gotta season this thing. I want to give it a couple weeks. Make sure that the wood is saturated enough to where when I go throw all the sticks that I want to put in this thing aren't getting all sucked dry. But I think if I just do that, because usually, like when I got my Opus 25th humidor, um, I I seasoned that for like a week. I got some of those 84% uh, Boveda packs and threw it in there and just left it shut for a week, didn't even touch it, And it still took it a little while to get up to where I wanted it to be. But it's like, and then I even kept having to bump up the Boveda percentage. I started with 69s, and then I went to 72s, and then I went to 75s. And with the 75s in there, it's holding at about 67, which that's good for me. So, but I can't wait to get that thing loaded up and show you guys that, and then show you my plans for that. Because I think once I get everything all done, it's going to be pretty cool. I haven't had a lot of time to work on the studio at all this week because I've worked 60 some odd hours, and I just been coming home and freaking taking a nap. And I actually hadn't had a cigarette for 2 weeks. I quit smoking, and I was like, I got to try to quit smoking. But it was like, I don't know, after about 4 or 5 days or something of this week with all of the bullshit and stress pouring in on me, I broke down and bought a pack of smokes. I was like, I need some help, So, but at least I slowed down and I didn't have any for a couple weeks. So I know I can do it, for sure. What other humidors you got? Guns. What are you keeping your stogies in? Peggy's Cove. Use the cap from Bar Harbor to Yarmouth. Hauled a bunch of cigars and new beer. Right on. That's cool. Oh, we just talked about this. The lures. You got the 5-pack of the Lure Wahoo. Lost a package for like 10 days, but it finally, I don't know, dude, what's up with that? Garage beer. Isn't that at least partially, isn't that like Travis Kelce and his brother Jason's beer? Aren't they the ones that own that, or they're like invested in it or something like that? I've had that garage beer. It's pretty expensive. Yeah, so in fact, I was going to share with you, a young one sent me a cigar bomb, and I was supposed to get it last week, before the show, and it was sitting in Kansas for like over a week, and something got messed up with the postage or something like that, and I know what it cost to ship cigars, and he even showed me his receipt that he paid for, but they got it all screwed up and it sat in the warehouse for a week. And then I had to put like $8.30 in change into an envelope and put it in my mailbox so the fucking mail lady would bring me this cigar bomb. But anyway, he sent me some good sticks. But same thing, they sat in a freaking warehouse and they got the postage all fucked up on it. And it was just like, it's no wonder the postal service is in trouble, But he sent me some good stuff. And, the one that I was wanting to get before last week is he sent me that J.C. Newman America. This is that American Puro that I was hoping to smoke on the show last week, but I think I'll just let that baby. I'm letting all these sit for a while because they've been in a fucking warehouse for a week and a half, and who knows what the hell. And then he sent me a 23 Ferriotego Generoso. That's a good cigar. I've had the 24. I have not had the 23. So really looking forward to smoking that one. And then he sent me some of the warheads. Got like sent me the Valkyrie and what's this one? I don't know. Not sure. I'm not sure. Is this a lure? Is this a lure cigar right here? I don't know. Miami. And then the fucking the Ruination 10th anniversary. I bet this is a really, really good stick. So I got those, and then I finally got my freaking Johnny Tobacconot Maduros. So thank God. I've been waiting on those forever, and they've been sitting for a week. So I think that's going to be one of my second cigars for the night. Let's see. Okay, Wag says he has the Beaver 88L. No Bovida packs needed. And a Need One 28 liter that uses the Bovida packs. Okay. And then Guns has two of the big Herf cooladors with the big mahogany, got the mahogany racks in it, right? Barrel rolling toolbox stack, several glass Tupperdoors, and a few tall pickle jars with a couple Harbor Freight knockoff Apache boxes. Right on. And you got a Need One 48. Well, that's cool. Well, damn, dude. you about like me. You got your stuff heronized all over the freaking place in all kinds of different fucking storage containers now. Yeah. Yeah, in fact, I seen one, and I was thinking about pulling the trigger on it. It's been on Marketplace for like 3 weeks now, and it's new. I mean, they got pictures posted of it. They only want $90 for it. I think that's like half price. So I may pull the trigger on that just to have. I may use that for like a box. You know what I mean? I can just cram that some bitch full of boxes of cigars and use that for my box storage. So I'm not taking up real estate in other things. You know what I mean? That would be good. Yeah. Yeah, me too. In fact, when I go through all my stuff and reorganize all my shit and everything, I'm gonna do a video on that. And I actually saw a post today. Somebody put up, they had a bunch of Tupperdoors full of shit and everything, and these guys were giving them shit about, hoarding, and you need to start smoking that shit, blah blah blah, and and I'm just like, you know, mind your business. You know what I mean? If I want to have, 10,000 fucking cigars, that's my business. You know what I mean? And, people like collecting things. People like having things. I like having a lot of cigars. You know what I mean? Do I need all the ones that I have? No. But who gives a shit? I enjoy getting them, and I enjoy finding them, and I enjoy buying them. You know what I mean? And I mean, as long as you take care of them, it isn't like they're, going to go bad and shit, especially if you got good humidors and you got good, stuff that you can take care of them with. I don't worry too awful much about that, but I am ready to start kicking back and smoking once I get this studio done and get everything finished up with that. I'm just going to start every night I'm gonna come down here and I'm gonna freaking smoke something and I'm gonna enjoy it. And you know, because I've got so many cigars that I bought that I haven't tried and I want to try, and they've just been sitting around. Cigars Plus is having an Espinosa event tomorrow. Right on. I tell you what, that new Espinosa 601 20th anniversary Maduro is freaking good. It's a delicious cigar. Um, I've had a couple of them and I've sent some out. They're worthy. Donut says he's got a big ass igloo. I'm gonna convert for my cigars. We don't use it anymore, just taking up real estate. Right on. I mean, you might as well, as long as the shit's airtight or, like is going to circulate air and control temperature. I think controlling, everybody's all tripping about, RH all the time. I think controlling the temperature, is every bit as much, if not important, than, you know what I mean? Because it's still going to smoke. You know what I mean? It's still going to smoke, but it's like, I think holding that temperature consistent and in the right area is, every bit as much as important as having the RH, and it directly affects the movement of the RH. The temperature does. So Ron, was you here when I showed everybody my new license plate for my truck? Did you get to see it? Since you're a Missouri boy. Pop taught me to hang the cooler from the ceiling with a rope and pulley. Oh, right on. Just to keep it up, you know. Do you store cigars in the box in the humidor, or do you take them out of the box? Depends. If I bought multiples, I usually take one box out and store a box. I don't have a whole lot of full boxes of stuff. But I do have like a Pelican case that I've got boxes in. Like I've got my fiddleheads and I've got some of my Pledge purples and I've got a box of Andalusian bulls in there and just some stuff that I want to just keep in the box. And Okay, so check this out, Rod. Here's and dude, I can't believe I got in and out of the DMV in like 20 minutes. But check her out. So Dirt Vader's all done because now I got the old fogey Missouri license plate. What do you think, bro? Looks pretty fucking sweet, huh? I like it. Definitely like it. I mean, that was like one of the last things that I wanted to do was get my personalized license plates on there, for sure. Got a closet at the new house under the stairs. Right on. Yeah, and I've got this closet down here in the studio now that, I'm definitely going to do something with. Well, thank you, bro. Yeah, I like it, Definitely you'll definitely know it's my truck or not, if I'll be parked in the spot, I need to get down there. I haven't been down for, I don't know, a few weeks now. Maybe I'll try to plan a trip and we can come down and hang out, or you can come up, you still need to come up and hang out with me, Ron. Faux show. But I don't know. Yeah. Yep, you do. We'll make it happen, dude. We ain't that far away from each other. We'll definitely get her done. And I think Cassie's got some event going on this next Friday, which I won't be able to make. I don't know. I may not do a show next week. I'm not sure. Just because I've actually been putting together some stuff for some content and, just trying some different shit that I want to get out. And I don't know. It's cool doing it every week, but it's kind of nice taking a week off every once in a while. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I just have so much fun. We'll just have to see. But and I've been working on some other shit, like, now that my green screen's working really good with this wall that I painted and shit, I've been fucking around with some different backgrounds. So I got like this one, and then let's see, let me show you a couple of the other ones that I've been working on. So I've got like the same thing, the city in the daytime. Then I've got like some cool like mountain backgrounds and shit. I'm not going to show you everything, just a couple of little teasers. And here, but this is another one that I'll share with you. Is like, who don't want to sit there and look at a bunch of brisket, especially if you're talking about food, some mouth-watering brisket background. pretty great, man. I'll dig it. But anyway, Wigwag says he takes his out of the box when storing it. Right on. Yeah, and you know what? The boxes take up a lot of freaking room. You know what I mean? They really do. And then you got to keep them some bitches humidified. I mean, they're breathing and they're, taking in moisture and expelling moisture and all that kind of stuff. And, that's exactly one of the reasons why I'm working on this new thing that I got, because I don't want to have to mess with boxes. You know what I mean? To me, boxes belong on the wall, and are displayed some way, somehow, getting to the point where it's like, I used to just like, oh my God, I got some boxes, remember your first box that you bought, or like when you had a couple boxes and, you were shitting in tall cotton, and now it's like, God damn, yeah, I don't need that box. I'll just chuck it, But one thing you can do with some of the boxes though is at least, a lot of these boxes are cedar or whatever, and you can, take those, break them up into pieces or cut pieces out of them or whatever, and kind of line your like tupperdoors or your pelican cases or something with wood out of the boxes to help keep that smell in there, so that everything just doesn't get so plasticky and just, I love having the cedar smell. It's all part of the experience. You know what I mean? Wag says, especially if the box has fresh lacquer paint. Yeah. Yeah. Like the Pledge of Allegiance, or, man, I'll tell you what, all those Carrillo boxes, man. My first box that I ever bought was that Carrillo 15th anniversary, and that black piano lacquer box. And then like that Battleborn box is badass. And that box that I just got, that deep blue box, is gorgeous, And you know, and they're like Fuentes. You know, a lot of the Fuente boxes are like that too. You know what I mean? Hey, Big Manny in the house. What's up, brother? Well, that's cool. You know, see, that's the thing. We're chilling out. We having fun, and you know, so you know, we don't always have to smoke to enjoy each other's company. And man, there's a lot of good movies and shit out to watch anyway. You know, there's some stuff that Mama and I are definitely planning on hooking up with and just chilling out and watching this weekend. I guess I think it's Netflix or Prime or somebody just put out a new Little House on the Prairie series, and oh my God, Brenda is just so I'm gonna have to Little House on the Prairie binge at some point this weekend. So hey, y'all's welcome to the show, brother. Glad you can make it tonight. How you been doing, buddy? You smoking anything tonight? What's going on with you? I've been smoking on this Chimoly Pangu, the Double Corona, and you know, I'm like an hour and a half into it, and I still got quite a bit left. I would have been finished with one of the Toros by now for sure. So I'm glad they actually made this in a you know in a bigger Vitola. You know, well, right on. I'm glad somebody had a good week. I mean, I had a good week, but it was just freaking frustrating, man. Just absolutely frustrating. Oh, you did? Hang on a second. Let me pull this up. Oh, you did the Chimoly Pangu? Right on, brother. It's good. I'm loving the shit out of it. Let me pull this fucking email up and well, hang on. I'll give you the cliff notes. I'll give you the cliff notes here in a second, man. So let's see. Guns. Okay. All right. Well, I think I'll just let me just download these real quick. Take a second. And then I can take them and load them up. Hold on. Media assets and more downloads. Yeah, that's sweet. So check it out. This is the baby shark box that Guns just got. Right on. So that's like a pyramid. Is that what it is? Huh. Yeah, I wanted to get some of those. I've heard they were going to be really good. They look good for sure. Thanks for sharing, man. That's cool. Most definitely. Have you smoked one at all yet, Guns, or no? Yeah, it is pretty. And I love Fuente's boxes, man. I really do. You know, um, I just need to quit actually buying boxes to get the boxes. You know what I mean? But I'm at the point now where I'm full. I've got just about every fucking, and especially having that 25th anniversary humidor box. I think I'm pretty much done with the buying boxes of Opuses, and I'll just fucking smoke on what I got for a while. Yeah, for sure. That's cool. Well, that's awesome that you got the box. So did you do a deal like where it was like, hey, if I buy the rest of these, can I have the box? You know, I mean, that's always worth, asking a store owner for, is like, because most of them don't give a shit. You know what I mean? They've got boxes and boxes of any kind of everything you could ever fucking want. They don't give a shit about the box, and that's that's pretty good though. But you'll have to let me know. Uh, you know, I'm sure you'll post up a video on the channel about it. Now that's even better. You don't even have to ask or beg for it. Please, can I please have the box, please? Donuts. My local shop sells empty boxes for $10. Right on. Cigars Plus is really cool. So that's one of your local B&Ms. Where you're at, Guns. Wow, for the first time, just having to touch this thing up just a little bit. It's been burning perfect up until just right this minute. But I don't mind. Get her back on track and you're good to go. Sell boxes for $1. Right on. Well, like I said, if you're, a lot of times people will buy trays or they will buy those Spanish cedar Bovita holder packet holders for their Pelican cases or their Tupperdoors. Hell, just go buy you, some boxes, some cigar boxes from the local for $1 and chop them bitches up and put some of that wood in there. Hell of a lot cheaper than buying, $30 trays or whatever. Of course, if you want some trays, that's a good thing, Wag says his gives them away for free. Most of them, some of them they charge $2. Right on. Of course, Guns has got, probably the coolest box of the year. He's got that fucking Oliva soccer ball box. You guys check out that video that he posted on his channel about that Oliva soccer ball box. That fucking thing is pretty sweet. Yeah, for real. With all the good stuff. Yeah, hopefully everybody's got at least one of those, get the, I've been so lucky this last year and a half, couple years. I mean, I do a lot of hunting, you know what I mean? I do a lot of hunting online, trying to stay up on top of stuff. And, the trick for me is, to when I get some hype cigar or something, because I'll buy it because of the hype, because I got to try it and see if it's worth it or not. And, if it is, great, but the trick is not to hang on to them too long and smoke you one and be like, okay, this is something special, or it's going to be even more special than it is, and pick up a bunch more of them before they're gone. You know what I mean? That seems to be the trick as well. But like Cassie, she's always holding all kinds of shit back all the time. You know what I mean? Gunn says he's got a buddy that makes cigar box guitar. Okay, that's cool. Like a little a little ukulele or like a little deliverance fucking ding 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 ding. That would be cool. You could actually make I bet he could make a really cool ass like electric one out of like a really big nice Opus box, or one of these lacquer boxes that we've been talking about, man. You put some pickups in there and make a fucking electric guitar, cigar box guitar. That would be something to see. Right on. Smokies. Yeah, I would definitely say for the Kansas City market, like I said, cigar room, Cassie's always pumping out bangers left and right. And she's a small little shop, you know what I mean? But she's always got good stuff in there. And then, of course, Outlaw, it's a monster. And you can go back through my videos and, look at some of the videos I posted a tour in that place. And then Diebel's down on the plaza, but they're kind of hoity-toity and they won't even let me come in and film. So it's like, that's too bad, because you guys got a cool shop, and it's like a gentleman's shop too. They got all kinds of shit. But Cassie's is right around the corner, and I can always pop in there and be like, well, damn, she stays up with the shit, and she brings in the new stuff, and just about every hype cigar that I have wanted to try, she's put it out. And then I can just, I'll be like, okay, well, I got some time. I'm just going to smoke one in your lounge right now. And if I really like it, then, I'll buy a 5-pack or whatever. But I think, unless I know it's really, really dynamite, or it's something, some amazing Dunbarton release, or something that I know that I'm already going to like, I'm done buying boxes of cigars. You know what I mean? I don't need them, for God's sakes. I've got way more than I need right now, or I'm running out of room for, and, now I want to focus on, stocking up on the cigars that I really like, and the ones that I know that I love, and, let some of this other stuff fall by the wayside and let somebody else get all gaga over something, for sure. As much as I'd like to have every cool ass sought after fucking cigar that comes down the pipe, it's just not feasible. I ain't got that kind of money. I don't have that kind of room, and I don't have that kind of time. Just like this week, yeah, this is my first cigar that I've smoked all week, because I basically just been coming home and eating and falling asleep in my chair and waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning and crawling in bed for a couple hours and then getting back up and doing it all over again. Like I said, I want to just get back to smoking. And that's one of the things that I love about this live stream venue and setup and everything, man. It's just, this is where I want to be. You know what I mean? Because sometimes it's, sometimes you want to have some conversation when you're smoking a cigar. You want to just chill out. You want to relax, but it's nice having friends to do it with. And, I, I don't know, I may even May even start picking some stuff back up. I know this winter I'm going to probably do at least 2 live streams a week for sure, and see what's going on with that. And then, everybody else has got their lives, Ray's got his on Saturdays, and then, Rising Grind's got Sundays and Tuesdays, which I was so busy I didn't even get a chance to go hang out with my good friend Marvin and watch his lives this week. So my plan is just to kind of catch those live streams on the on this weekend when I actually have some time. No, I have not. I know where I can get some. They're like $100 a stick, you know. In fact, I just seen something on the Soccer Squatch group on Facebook that he's got a unicorn box coming out where he's got several blends that are going to be in that unicorn Vitola coming out. So that would be cool, but that'd be a very expensive box. I mean, that'd be like buying a box of Opus somethings, for sure. Yeah. I mean, that'd be perfect for that. You know what I mean? Because number one, you if you're going to leave everything in boxes and just put boxes in there, you don't have to buy trays and you don't have to do all that shit. Just get you some of those big ass, like 3 of those big ass fucking 320-gram Bovita packs and throw them some bitches in there with your boxes, and fuck, you don't even have to mess with it for a year. You know what I mean? My new air coolador, frigidor, whatever the fuck you want to call it, my electric humidor. It's the new air Bovita collaboration, and you put 3 of those big, the big box Bovita packs, the 320-gram ones. And dude, I only got to change that out like once a year. Maybe 7 or 8 months, I'll start watching it kind of falter a little bit, and I'll just go ahead and replace them. But that's perfect. And then you really don't have to, if they're in the boxes, you really don't have to worry too much about rotating them or anything. Maybe pull them out every once in a while and let them take a little breath, and then throw it all back in there. Just to kind of keep things from getting stagnant. You know what I mean? All right, let me pull that one up real quick here, buddy. See what I want to see what these guitars look like. Okay. There we go. See, this is kind of cool. I'm digging this, man. You guys sending in shit, and then I can share pictures of stuff that you guys send me, right here and now. Wow, that actually looks pretty cool, man. I mean, that dude is definitely a craftsman. Look at that thing. And shit, I might play it. I might mess around with it, but I mean, that would be cool as fuck just to have hanging on the wall, uh, in the Death Star. You know what I mean? In fact, you ought to ask your buddy what he charges for those, and like if I had a specific box that I wanted him to make one of those out of, what he would charge me to freaking do it. That would be kick assly for sure. Yeah, isn't that sweet, man? You know, and I'm sure it plays just fine. Yeah, and Wags, you got a nice workshop, brother. You ought to be able to crank something like that out pretty easily. I mean, you're a craftsman. You could do that uh, pretty easily, man. Perdomo Amenso, right on. How'd you like that bottle rocket? Was it okay? Yeah. Just tell them that I got a really nice cigar box that I would like to have made into one of those, and I can send him dimensions and pictures of it and everything, and that would be pretty cool. I mean, for me, it would have to be, um, I'd like to do something Dunbarton, but Dunbarton really doesn't have flashy big boxes or anything like that. For me, it would have to be like one of those Opus boxes, or like take that EP Carrillo Battleborn or Deep Blue box and turn that into a little cigar. And those are actually kind of, beveled and shaped to where it would look pretty fucking cool. I think. Right on. Glad you liked it. May have to try one. Been seeing a lot of like the little everybody's little firecracker cigars. I even saw one that had, like that Placencia Year of the Horse that had like that little horsey tail on it. I seen this firecracker, little stubby cigar that looked like it even had a fuse. The top of it was just twisted into a fuse and put in the cello. You know. Oh, right on. Well, that's cool. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. I mean, I ain't in no hurry for it. That's just something that would be cool to have hanging up. Well, I would put that in here in my studio. You know what I mean? Because now, I've got the Death Star all decorated up the way I want it, and I got a bunch of blank wall space and stuff in here in my office, my studio, and that would be cool to be having that hung up on the wall in here. Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool. They got the fuse on them. Just an ingenious little thing, just a little ploy to, get get people to freaking buy shit. And even if you don't smoke it, it's a pretty cool little novelty as a cigar collector. For sure. All right, buddy. Well, thank you. Yeah, just let me know what he says. Like I said, I'm not in no super big hurry for anything or whatever. So anyway, Bobby, are you still in here? Are you still hanging out with us, or did you pop out already? Punch makes a bottle rocket cigar, huh? Wow. Yeah, 70 ring gauge, dude. That's an El Ropo. Good lord. I don't know if I could smoke that or not. You know, the only thing that I've noticed about bigger ring gauge stuff is just it. I want to smoke on it more, and it gets so fucking hot. and the smoke gets hot, Right on. The sun grown is good. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. I guess Donuts is going to send me a punch to try, so I'll look forward to that. I need to try them. There isn't any reason why I haven't, other than just every time that I would actually buy a punch, and be like, yeah, let's go ahead and get a punch this time. Somebody's always got something that, I want more, or I've been actually looking for, That's one of the other things that kind of makes it hard sometimes to try new cigars and stuff, because when you do go into your locals and they've got something that it's like, well, shit, you know, I got to have me one of them for sure. Man, that's really good. That's got a black walnut. It's almost got like, now it's got like a little bit of bitterness, but it tastes like a black walnut, like the ones that your grandma used to grow in her backyard, and she'd fucking run over them with the car. I remember doing that for my grandma. She'd just line up a bunch of walnuts on the driveway and run over them with the car and bust them all open and shit, and then just scoop it up and then just sit there and pick through them all and get all the nuts out of them. That was crazy shit. But hey, whatever worked, They definitely used their brains and did a bunch of shit to try to figure out how to get something done the easiest way. That's for damn sure. So what's everybody's plans for the weekend? Everybody just chilling, or anybody got any big plans? Gunn says he was getting the Punch Classic Robusto singles. Right on. Yeah, and that's usually it too. You get hooked on one and then you got to try a bunch of them. Of course, like I said, I wouldn't want to do that with like the Rocky Patel line. you know, uh, I wouldn't want to smoke through 87 blends to find the ones that I really really liked. I'd rather take the butcher's word for it. You know what I mean? Oh, right on. Yeah, that's the other thing about having a big ass fucking ring gauge like that. You got to have a cutter that'll cut it. You know, you almost need like one of them big ass guillotine cutters or something. You know, 'cause most of the shit I got, would barely cut a 60 ring gauge cigar. You know what I mean? For sure. Oh, I did get some of the. What the hell did I do with those? I did get another thing. I got was the that Dunbarton Tapa Negra. I got the Corona Gordas. Can't wait to smoke those. And I've just heard everybody's just loving the shit out of those. That should be a really, really good cigar. Oh man, dude, yeah, fucking poison ivy. I hate that shit. we used to, when I was younger, and because I got poison ivy really bad, In fact, I've had it to the point where it's like my freaking eyes would be fucking swollen shut and shit. Um, fuck. Uh, we would just take like a fucking putty knife and just fucking scratch that shit until it bled, and then just fucking pour uh fucking lacquer thinner all over that shit, and it would just dry that shit up real quick. But it hurt. I've gotten it hunting. I was hunting one year and was climbing a dead tree that had poison ivy on it, and it was like dormant, but the vine was still there, and I got that shit in my eyes, and I had to like fucking wake up and go to the cooler first thing in the morning and grab a couple of fucking cans of beer and put them on my eyes to bring the swelling down enough to where I could like pry my eyes open and just barely see. Oh, I hate poison ivy. Good God. Yeah, I finally got them. I just got a 4-pack because I know my locals are going to have them. I don't think that's not an LE. That's going to be a new release, and I think a lot of people are hyping it up. But I'm seeing them at a lot of places, and I know my locals are going to get them. So I got 4, and they got the Toro too, and I'll probably pick up a couple of those. But yeah, I'm just letting those rest up in my Dunbarton drawer, and I might bust one of those out this weekend and try it for sure. Oh yeah, that Cohiba Spectre box, the one that like opens all up crazy and shit, and it's got all That's a cool box. That's definitely pretty cool. In fact, I seen one down at in person. I seen one down at this little place down in Springfield actually, and they had some in their little lockup thing. Oh, I bet. Yeah, I bet. Well, and doesn't so isn't what am I thinking of? Doesn't Perdomo do the one that's called like the Inch or something? And that's a bunch of those big ass ring gauge cigars too. Is that the Perdomo Inch? Am I right on thinking that? First time you've ever had it. Yeah, dude, you pretty much got to. I mean, if you get it that bad, don't be fucking around with it. Just go get a shot, and you know, immenso. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, I may have to try one. Let me know what you think of it. Because I know Outlaw's got those. I'm pretty sure. Inch is asylum. Okay, right on. Yeah, I've seen those, and they're like these big fucking Mahamba Jambas. I don't. I never bought any of those, but let me know if you like that. Yeah, in fact, when I was down hunting, my wife, one of her best friends, is a doctor, and works at Skag Hospital. In fact, she's an infectious disease doctor, and was able to call her up on the phone, and she called me in a script for prednisone at the Walmart down in Camdenton, about 35 miles away from where we were deer hunting, and I was able to go get on that. But as soon as I got back, I went to the doctor and was like, "Give me the shot, doc. Give me the shot." Donut's got the Perdomo Fresco. Right on. Well, and Ken from Chief of the Leaf sent me that father and son Maduro. So I've got one of those stashed back. I might bust that out sometime soon too. Right on. Yeah, I think I don't know. Like I said, I think I kind of Gun says they smoke pretty nice. Right on. Yeah, I think I'd really just, I've got to stop the madness. I just can't keep spending money on cigars like I have been this last couple of years, man. Good God. I I really need to just start enjoying what I have and not tripping on it. And I mean, fuck, I got so many crazy cigars that would be good content. That's another thing I was going to ask you guys. Do you guys more like the live stream format than like posting up just single videos? Or I mean, it's not like I'm not going to do it, but it seems like since I've started doing my live streams, I haven't really put out a lot of content because this is just easier. You know what I mean? I don't have to mess with a lot of the editing and all that kind of shit. And I don't have any problem keeping a show running, for sure. And right on. Yeah, Wags, I'm kind of leaning that way. You know what I mean? And yeah, I do like the interaction. I mean, that's the best part of it. Um, when you putting out the videos, it just has to be, a topic, and you got to do this and you got to do that, and and it's a lot of damn work. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know, and but I like it. I mean, I do like making the videos. I do like editing. And well, thank you. Um, and I come up with so much cool shit. You know what I mean? My editing skills are great. The fucking, when I a couple years ago when I started thinking about shit, and then my channel's been up for a little over a year now. And I was like the first cigar guy to have an AI co-host. Nobody was doing that shit. And I brought Simon in and was interacting with him and doing that stuff. And, it was cool doing my own thing and doing something different than what everybody else was doing, but, a lot of that is some work. But I will say that I'm working on things in my studio, like I said, that's going to make it a lot easier to film the content that I want to put out. And it'll make it a lot easier for me to, the shooting of it is sometimes the most difficult part. The editing isn't so much, and that kind of thing. It's just the shooting of it and having the time to shoot it and get the shots that you want and get shit to look the way that you want it to look. And a lot of times you got to go to this, fucking extremes to set all that shit up, where this is just like, I can show you stuff and I can show you pictures and I can do everything. And and like you say, you guys kind of set the tone of the show. You know what I mean? Yeah, I agree. They do. They both have their place. You know what I mean? Um, especially when you are excited about a certain cigar or a certain product, or one of my things that I love doing the videos is the Fogey be traveling shit. I love going to cigar humidors and stuff that I've never been to and checking them out and sharing that stuff with you. You know what I mean? Right on. Well, brother, thanks for coming. Always good to have you as usual. So what day are you leaving on vacation? It's coming up here real quick, isn't it? I hope you have a good one. And it's gonna be you'll have to you'll have to send me some pics that I can share with everybody, some of your choice stuff from your vacation. I'm sure you need it, brother. I know how stressful your job's got to be and everything, just doing that all the time. So, but have a good weekend, man. Glad you could make it, and everything's all good, man. Peace out. Oh man. Well, I think I've just about had enough of this one, but we're only a couple hours into the show. Oh yeah, that's definitely coming in the works. You know what I mean? I want to do a live stream from my boat and be sitting there fishing while I'm fucking talking to everybody and smoking. That's definitely in the works. And I've been working on a mount thing for my laptop and stuff to secure it to the boat, so I don't have to worry about it like falling out of the boat and doing all that kind of shit. Right on, right on. Well, you'll be busy, and you'll probably, if you're leaving Saturday morning, you'll be busy next Friday getting, So if I don't talk to you, man, have an awesome vacation. Enjoy it. Enjoy your time with your wife, and hope you guys really have a decent time, man. Yeah, for sure. Get some hunting done. Find some good sticks, brother. Well, good luck on that. And when you come back, let us know all about it, man. You take care of yourself, man. So I'm gonna give that Pangu a rest. Everybody good if I get into another stogie, you guys gonna hang out with me a little bit, or is everybody finishing up or got shit to do or whatever? I think I'm gonna want to fire up this Johnny Tobacco Maduro, and I think I will because I already pulled it out. And it's a shorty. It's a little Robusto. So get maybe another hour out of this little dude. Smells good. And it looks like it's really well constructed. Pretty nice. Oh, look at that. Yeah, that's a well rolled cigar right there. Yeah, you're welcome, buddy. Enjoy those. Let me know how you like them and which ones you like the best. Donuts for sure. Yeah, that's right. You just lit up the old El Ropo. Let's do this. I ain't got shit to do. I'm still burning off fucking stress from this week anyway. So I think I'll do a nice little V cut on this little sumbitch and see how it does. Get all that shit out of there. Ooh, yeah. That's what I love about that Calibri, man. You get a nice, clean, deep V cut that doesn't fuck up my cap. You know, that thing cuts it really well. I love this some bitch. It was well worth the money. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, definitely email me some pictures when you get a chance. And when you come back, we'll show everybody, and you can tell us about your pictures. That'll be awesome. Well, if this cigar is anything as good as the Johnny Tobacconaut 10th anniversary, then this should be a very, very good smoke. Get that foot all toasted up real good. Kind of great draw on it, man. Ooh, yeah. Bam. Right off the bat, just dark chocolate. You know, tastes like some good Dubai chocolate. That's cool. Yeah, me too. In fact, the only Room 101 cigar that was kind of hyped that I bought a box of them, that I just wasn't super pleased with. I mean, it was an okay smoke, but it didn't live up to whatever was the 15th anniversary. That cigar for me just didn't. I definitely didn't need to be buying a box of it, for sure. But okay. Man, that's good. That's real good. Let me see what the French exhale is on this. Not too bad at all. Ooh, I'm picking up coffee. Seriously picking up some coffee. Now that's hitting a little hard on the nose. Of course, I just blew a big old hit out, but man, I really pulled some coffee out of that French exhale. Oh, I think this little dude's going to be good. I may have to get me a few more of these before they're all gone. This is another one that everybody's got hyped up, and it'll be gone before you know it. I don't know if you guys have ever watched the show, um, The Last Ship. Um, it's kind of like a pandemic post-apocalyptic thing where, this Navy destroyer ship goes out to find the cure for this virus that broke out. And then by the time they got back, half the world's dead, and they're running around on this ship doing all that shit, But I watched like the first 3 seasons of it, and then I didn't watch the fourth one. And the last time that thing was out, I think was like 20. I want to say like 2013 or 2016, and then they just recently released another season. So I was like, oh fuck it. So I went back. I've been watching that with the old lady. So we've been on the last ship binge. You know, I know, right? You know, in fact, uh, Costco has these little um, brownie bites. They're like a little mini brownie cupcake. You can get a big old tub full of them. And man, they're freaking soft and delicious, but they got a little bit of crunch around the edges. And, I love pulling like a double shot or like an Americano and sit there and sip on some good coffee and eat some of that fucking brownie. Oh, those brownie bites are to die for, man. I love it. Yeah, that's really good. I'm definitely glad that I picked up a few of these. Tell you another cigar that I really been wanting to try that I've had for a while is that what the hell is it? Let me look it up here. I can't remember the exact. It's a Drew Estate Early Access. I had that for a while. I've been wanting to try it. Some of the Drew Estate cigars are really good. In fact, I got my buddy Dink. Gave him Undercrown Shade and liked it. And I like that Herrera Esteli. That's a pretty solid smoke. And I love the 20 Acre Farms. Have any of you guys smoked the 20 Acre Farm? Um, Man, that's a really good Connecticut blend to have with a coffee. Yeah, that's solid. Yeah, if you guys can get your hands on some of these Johnny Tobacconaut Maduros, I highly recommend it. It's that cigar is just off to the races already. Yeah, I've been watching that and got the new Silo, the new season of Silo come out. I've been watching that on Apple. God, that's such a good show. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just kind of kicking back and fucking vegging out on some TV and not doing much of shit this weekend. Should be a pretty good time. Man, definitely try them. And they come in a nice little cedar sleeve, and it's a good roll. It's a good smoke. In fact, when I was starting my cigar journey, I really got into like the Monte Cristo number twos and tried that, and then I started smoking those 20 Acre Farms, and I liked it a hell of a lot better because it was a little cheaper. I think it was like, I think I was getting the Toro, the 20 Acre Farm Toro, and I think I was getting that for like $16 or something. But then the freaking uh, the Monte Cristo number two was like 20 something, 20 and change. Yeah. I almost bought one of those. La Cultura had one of those things, and I seen that, and I thought, man. But then I was like, am I really ever going to smoke this fucking thing? You know, should I? I don't know. We'll just have to see. It would be an interesting smoke, that's for sure. Definitely something guns to do a video on. You know what I mean? Because I'm sure a lot of people are the same way. Do I buy it? Do I smoke it? Do I? You know what I mean? Just kind of see how that goes for sure. But I don't know. It's just such a big. Oh my god, that thing in the middle's got to be like 100 fucking ring gauge or something. You know what I mean? In the very middle of it, that thing is massive. You know. In fact, I wonder if I can look that up, see if it'll say anything about it. Uh, I'm not seeing anything that talks about what it is, but it's got to be something crazy. It's got to be a freaking 100. And what was that other freaking gargantuan cigar that came out a year or so ago? That big freaking, oh my god! I've seen one of those, and I was just like, I don't know if I could do that or not. You know. And then, of course, you see like some of those big, super long, double Lanceros or whatever. You know, those aren't too bad. They're long as shit, but the ring gauge is small, so I think the flavor would still be good on them for sure. Okay, let's see what it's doing. Okay. Huh. Look at that. Well, it looks like it's burning good guns. You know, I mean, it's got a pretty straight burn line on it, and you know, the ash itself looks like it's stacking up pretty well. How's it taste? This one's burning pretty damn good. Pretty good. Man, I can't wait to get to doing some cooking this weekend too. So I got uh, I got some Wagyu chuck roast, and I love making like Irish stew out of chuck. Um, but I got this Wagyu chuck from Hy-Vee, and I've never had any Wagyu chuck before, but this shit's really marbled, really good and stuff. And I think I'm gonna cook up some Irish stew this weekend with that Wagyu chuck. I bet it's gonna be just delectable. That fucking shit ought to just melt in your mouth. And then I need to bake up some shit too. I'm like I ain't got no cookies. I don't have any pie. I don't have anything. So I may spend a little bit of time in the kitchen tomorrow. Try and get some stuff taken care of. That would be really, really good. Have some sweets to munch on. I've been kind of got one of my grandma's peanut butter cookie recipes perfected that's been coming out really good. I know every time I cook them, they're freaking gone. You know, my son loves them, and then he takes a bunch of them to work and gives them to his work buddies and shit. You know, they're just tearing them up. Right on. A sweet and woody flavor to it. And you said that's the Amenso, right? I may give it a try. You know, hell, I've never smoked a 70 ring gauge cigar before. I might like it. You know, I may just like it. I think a lot of what's kind of maybe ruined me on that is just you know, I'm always smoking a lot of the Dunbarton stuff, and it's, you know, a lot of that stuff is like, you know, 46, 48 ring gauge, you know, and I've really kind of grown to love that. So maybe that's kind of what's gotten me ruined on smoking bigger cigars, because it seems like I smoke a hell of a lot more like Corona Gordas and Robustos these days. Oh, I know, right? Especially when, you know, like I said, I've been trying to get my grandma Sharp's recipe down, and I really think I got it, because the way hers were is like, you know, a lot of times peanut butter cookies, they're like either really chewy or they're really crunchy. And the way that she did hers, and I've kind of figured this out, is they're crunchy on just on the very outside of it, but then they're nice and gooey on the inside. You know, took me a really long time to kind of figure out how to make that happen, but that's the way they're coming out. I love them, man. Yeah, I mean, so I'll get me one. I know Cassie's got some of those for sure. Was a 60, yeah. Yeah, I've smoked a couple of 60s, and some of them aren't too bad. Not really. I don't. I don't think. Well, like even like you know, so Dunbarton this last year came out with um, that Gorilla Gorda. You know, that's a 60 ring gauge, and I smoked that, and I liked it pretty well. It was pretty decent. You know, for sure. Now there's something cool is, so one of my, I call him my other son. Um, One of my son's best friends that he went to school with, Dustin, is in town. He's been in the army, and he enlisted right out of high school, and I guess he's been down in Texas helping out with border patrol. And he just came back, and he's staying with us while he's in town and stuff. And it was really kind of cool to talk with him and, you know, hear about you know, what's going on at the border and all that kind of stuff. And was telling me, you know, because, you know, I love drones, and I'm a, you know, commercial drone pilot. And you know, he was telling me about some of the drones they're flying and how they're patrolling the borders with drones and watching for drones coming over, bringing fentanyl and shit or whatever. Like the Toro, you like the Robusto more often. Yeah, I hear you. But, a couple Robustos too, you can kind of mix it up, and, have a little harsher one, or, start out with a little bit of easier one and then switch over to, you know, like a Maduro or a Cameroon or a San Andreas. Yeah. Yeah, that's almost just about just the right size for, about an hour and 20, hour and 30 minute smoke. A good Toro, um, they do draw a little bit better, of course. But I don't know, they seem to just have a little bit deeper flavor than some of the smaller ones. I mean, there's notes and things that you pick up on a Toro that you don't necessarily always pick up on a Robusto or a Corona Gorda, for sure. So tomorrow we got our last FIFA soccer match at Arrowhead. Um, got Argentina and Switzerland playing tomorrow. And everybody's all gaga about that. Of course, I'm kind of ready for this soccer fan fest thing to be over, because it's just been creating a lot of extra traffic, and freaking restaurants are jam packed and parking is crazy, and it's been kind of a neat experience being a town that hosts a World Cup games. In fact, I was just talking to Young One, and he just went. He lives in Seattle. He just went to that last USA game that they lost, and was showing me some pictures and stuff of him, um, you know, smoking some stogies and hanging out. Right on, Wag. So is that on their? Is that was that something that they did on one of their podcasts, or do they just actually have that video out on their channel? I'd like to get his 2 cents worth. I love listening to him and Nicholas. Their podcast is really doing good, and I actually will put it on while I'm driving around at work sometimes and just listen to it. Right on. Thanks. Well, I'll have to put that on my list of shit to listen to next week while I'm driving around, because he seems to be pretty spot on about that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? He's very knowledgeable. You know, I mean, and it's cool, getting that knowledge from an actual manufacturer. You know what I mean? Versus, somebody who's just reviewing a cigar or whatever. A lot of the stuff that him and Nicholas been talking about it's been good content. I've really enjoyed watching it and listening to it. Of course, I'm still hooked on New Heights, which is you know Travis and Jason Kelsey's podcast. I've been listening to that for a few years now, and it's always fun. Those guys are doing some neat shit, and you know, hats off to Travis and Tay Tay. Tied the big knot in Madison Square Garden. Had Adam Sandler officiate the wedding for him and stuff, and finally starting to see some of the pictures coming out from it and shit, But they're a good looking couple. I think if they ever decide to have any kids, they're gonna have some gorgeous kids together, I bet you. Yeah, 100%. You know, and the thing I like about it is they're just they're not pimping their stuff. They're just doing cigar talk, just kind of like we do, and just sharing things, and it's real laid back, and it's not pretentious, and it's not in your face, and I kind of like watching uh, somebody who's like that. They're not all full of themselves, and they're just sharing some good stuff for sure. Yep, this is good. I would definitely put this in the phantasmagorical category. It's it's really tasty, and just such a well built cigar, well rolled cigar. Holy shit! In fact, I think when I get off here, I'm going to order me another 5 pack of these, and then maybe get some of the Toros. And I need to get some of those Tapa Negra Toros too, so I can have both of those to compare. Anyway, it's supposed to rain too. It's been raining and storming everything here. I'm over it. I'm hoping we get a nice weekend so I can get outside and do some smoking. I finally got my deck cleaned off and fucking got it pressure washed and got the cushions cleaned up and everything. So I'll probably spend a little bit of time out back and enjoy, because it's not supposed to be too hot here this weekend, and like 70s at night. So it'd be perfect, like right now, to go outside and smoke. But I'm looking forward to fall. Nothing like a good sitting next to a good campfire, having a little bonfire rolling in the backyard and freaking, smoking a stogie. That's good stuff. And I do love Perdomo wise. I do love that 30th anniversary, man. That thing is it's one of my favorite Connecticut's for sure. That 30th anniversary. And when I talked to Nick when he was up there for that legacy event when they released that, he asked me what my go-to Perdomo was, and I told him it was that 30th anniversary, and he was like, yeah, he's like, I still smoke a lot of those. And I was like, I bet you do. you know Must be nice to have your own cigar line and an endless supply of fucking whatever cigars you want to smoke. And if you don't like it, then just blend another one, keep blending stuff. But the guys that their palates are great and they keep consistently putting out good stuff, that would be pretty cool. But I think I think it'd be a lot of work too. You know what I mean? You'd just be living the job the whole freaking time. Yeah, it would just be a life. It's not really a job; it's a life. You know, that bourbon barrel aged Maduro. I have not tried that one yet. But yeah, those 12-year aged line that they have too and that's a legacy too, isn't it? It's the legacy 12-year aged whatever. Pretty good stuff. This root beer is really going good with this damn tobacco knot for sure. Yeah, and Wags, I think I'm going to watch a little bit more of your stuff this weekend too. Really been digging some of the some of the train shit you got going on, man. That's it's really cool. And like, I can hear like when you put some stuff out that you can hear the trains running in the background and shit. That's pretty cool. That's definitely a unique sound and very, very recognizable if you've ever done it much. Right on. Well, that's cool. I'll keep an eye out for it. Yeah, like I said, I've been you know last weekend I got to watch some, and I've been pulling some of it up at work when I kind of have a little bit of downtime and just kind of you got a lot of shit. You got a lot of videos out, man, for sure. Been doing it for a minute, but yeah, it's just a lot of work, isn't it? It's just a lot of work. Um, because you're enjoying it, you're doing your thing, but to actually film it and then edit it up and put everything together, you know, for me, it's like that's kind of why I take a break from doing content every now and again. I'll take a month or so off and not put out anything, and because it's just like I don't want it to ever become work. I want it to always stay fun and enjoyable to me, pretty much. Because bottom line, I make my videos for me because I like doing it. First and foremost. But I've definitely got a lot of love coming out. A lot of people, that I've talked to and I've met and everything that are liking what I'm doing, and it just spurs me on to continue to innovate and just do fun shit, for sure. Oh yeah. Yeah, I kind of do too, We got, stuff that is just ready to go that I can just pop in there, to make it seamless. What editing software do you like to use for your video, Wags? And I have seen a lot of people that say that they use and that they're using AI video editors. You know, right on. Well, that's the best Mac one there is. I use Adobe Premiere Pro. You know, just there's so much shit you can do with it, but they've incorporated a lot of like AI shit into those where you can take clips or have the. But I still like, for the most part, I like to do most of that shit myself and come up with most of my editing techniques and things that I do just on my own. Just stuff that I've learned and picked up and enjoy doing. Yeah, exactly. The only AI I use is just for graphics and mostly thumbnails. And I don't know if you're seeing this or not, but I'm kind of picking up on that a lot of the channels that are being more successful, if you will, nowadays are just the basic raw, just shooting print. You know what I mean? Not a lot of editing, not a lot of, and especially if you get somebody that can talk, and there's not a lot of glitchy cuts put together because somebody's can't you know put together 10 consecutive sentences in a row without fucking up. you know um but yeah, that's pretty much just the way I like to do it. I'm kind of gonna get back more into just simple shit. Me sitting in this chair, put a cool backdrop up, and just do my shit, and here it is, and maybe throw a clip in here or there, or a picture here or there, and just kind of keep it simple. you know yeah, and I post up quite a bit of shorts, and like with the StreamYard, it's like after I do a show, it'll generate short clips that I can post here and there and whatever. But um they're you're not, they don't count towards your watch time, really. You know what I mean? So it's like uh that's one of the things that I like about the live stream too, is all this time, like now, I got 4, 5, 8, 10 people in here that are watching with me for 2, 3 hours a week. you know that's getting me a hell of a lot more watch time than some of these videos are, these 5, 10, 15 minute videos. And that's kind of what has made me lean a little bit more towards just doing live stream stuff, because I get more watch time out of it. Sure, I get that. And I think that's what most people want. That's what I like to watch. You know what I mean? Um, I'm there to watch the person, uh, and I'm there for them, and their take on it, and their passion for it, or enthusiasm that they're talking to you about with it. Um, I don't really need to be entertained, if you will, on a video. I'm there for that person, and I'm there to listen to them and listen to what they have to say about what they're talking about. Pick Jimmy. That's somebody I'm not familiar with. Is there a YouTube channel called Pick Jimmy Guns? Is that what you're talking about? I'm not familiar with that. Of course, just like everything else, there's so many things. And well, I'll have to check it out. If you guys are watching it and digging it, I'll have to definitely definitely do it. Hey, welcome to the show. What you got going on tonight? Solology. You smoking anything tonight? Anything good? Had that Chimoly, and I'm smoking this Johnny Tobacco Maduro now. It's still burning really damn good. Oh, it's delicious, man. It's I'm really liking it. It's the little Robusto, but um I mean, I don't think it's as good as the Tobacconaut 10th anniversary, but it's really good, you know. Especially for something fairly, a new blend that hasn't been out very long. Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah, definitely let me know if you're going to do that. I'll definitely have to watch. Yeah, that'd be cool. I'm kind of actually excited about that. That'd be pretty neat. Have somebody do that. I used to love doing woodworking and shit when I was a kid, you know. Um, you know, just old draw knives and fucking hand saws and hell, I remember when Star Wars came out, we would take, they didn't even have any lightsaber toys or anything like that. We would get 2x2s and get old grandpa's draw knives out and shave them some bitches down around and make a little cross on it and shit, and then get some model paint, some neon model paint, and make us some wood lightsabers and shit. No, hell no. You know what I mean? Like I said, it's probably going to be, just more of a conversation piece uh, to have hanging up in the Death Star. You know what I mean? I mean, I might play it a little bit just to kind of mess around while I'm jamming on the stereo or something. But yeah, I don't, it doesn't have to be, a fucking Stradivarius, you know. I just think it's a cool idea, something definitely neat to have. Be something to do a video on, you know what I mean? Check this out. This is fucking sweet, you know. Yeah, and I mean, I'm not going to hold him to anything or whatever. I mean, if he's got an idea, I mean, he knows what kind of time he's got to have put into it and all that stuff. And he can definitely just let me know on that, what he's wanting for it, and we can come up with something. And then I can take one of my EP boxes and ship it to him and have him turn it into a fucking little guitar. That would be cool as shit. Probably that Battleborn box would be the one that I would like to see, because then it'd have kind of like a, you know, military reference to it too, which I don't know if you guys have smoked that Creo Battleborn, but it's a good damn cigar. I was glad that I bought a box of those, and I've gifted quite a few of them. Oh, right on. Well, cool. I appreciate you reaching out to him, man. You know, you said if he's at work, he's probably glad to take a minute and get his brain out of the fucking machine. You know what I mean? For sure, man. Yeah, they definitely hit a home run with this one. I just wish they'd get some at one of my locals, so I don't have to order them. And I kind of hate buying and shipping cigars, when it's hot out. you know. I'm always worried about them getting jacked up, getting too much heat on them or something, you know what I mean? Maybe it might be ruining shit on them. I don't know. Definitely think, spring and fall is definitely the time to not worry about cigars being shipped to you or vice versa. I did get some cool little mailer packs, um, to send my stuff out in a little bit, you know, smaller container and a little bit sturdier. And I don't have to put all that fucking, bubble wrap and cellophane in every damn thing. And I do think too, I've got one kind of dry boxing right now. I think Sunday, um, I'm going to take a little bit of time after I get done working on the boat, and I'm going to smoke my first Opus Lost City. You know, hey, look who showed up! What's up, Enrique? How you doing, my brother? Glad you could make it. We just been hanging out tonight, bro. Smoked the Chimoly Pangu, the 26 Corona Double Corona, and now I'm smoking the Johnny Tobacconaut Robusto Maduro. It's really good. Well, that's good for certain. Did you have a good week, brother? Did everything go good? Quote $1 as long. Oh yeah, I would want him to take his time with it. You know what I mean? For sure. I wouldn't expect it anytime fast or anything. Well, that's good. Glad you had a good week. I kind of had a good week. I just had a lot of bullshit going on at work. And just asshole people and banking problems this week. But I got through it, and it's a weekend, and I'm just glad to be smoking some cigars. Tonight's the first night I've smoked all week, Enrique. Okay. Well, we'll talk about it a little bit more. I'll send him a I'll send you a picture of the box that I want him to do it with, and kind of get him some measurements and stuff, and at least get him an idea of where to start and everything. But yeah, like I said, I think it'd just be a cool conversation piece, something neat to have as a cigar lover and addict. Um, to have a cigar box guitar hanging up on the wall would be pretty cool. Yeah, wasn't that good? You know, I really love those, dude. Um, and that's like, dude, that's like a $14 stick. You know what I mean? Just really, really good for the price. And I've smoked quite a few of those. I'm glad you really enjoyed it, man, for sure. Well, right on. Well, I'm glad you told me about them, Guns. I definitely want to, do it up for sure. Well, good. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, it's it's just a solid cigar. I love the Vitola. It's tasty. Well constructed. It just. Uh, I would put it. I'd take the Pepsi challenge on that cigar against some $25 cigars all day long. You know what I mean? I've had a lot of more expensive cigars that I didn't like as much as that Tatuaje for sure. Okay, well, thanks, man. Well, so I like the Chimoly. I mean, I've liked their stuff anyway, and I like the Pangu. I like the Pioneer. I think is my favorite, but that double Corona versus the Toro that they normally blend in. Man, that double Corona was really good. Really smoked great, and I think it was a lot more transitional. Um, I picked up distinct uh, flavor changes through the course of the smoke, and I really liked it. I didn't buy a box of them or anything. I think I just bought like a 4-pack, but and it smoked for a couple hours. Enrique, it was it was worth it. Definitely a decent cigar. But I think I'm liking this Johnny Tobacco Maduro better, even though it's a smaller stogie and everything. Well, that's cool. You'll like it, And I got mine right when they first released, so they've been sitting in the Humi for, I don't know, when did I get those? I got those, let's see. How did I get those? It was in that was in the aging box. Chimoly. Um, a couple months. May 13th is when I got those. So yeah, a little over a month of age on them. Um, yeah, dude, this is a good little stick. I really love the flavor of it. A lot of fucking right off the bat on light up, I was tasting like dark Dubai chocolate right off the bat. And then the French exhale, I was picking up a really good coffee smell to a coffee flavor. Um, and this thing's it's smoking so good. Been a great little smoke. Glad you got a box of them. I got like a 4-pack is all I got. So I gotta quit buying boxes and just fucking. I gotta quit buying a bunch of fucking cigars. Period, bro. You know what I mean? Yeah, I mean they're definitely reasonable. Um, for that uh and Room 101 really doesn't beat you up too awful much on the price on a lot of their stuff, for sure. How's the weather down there in Miami this week, man? Did you guys get a bunch of rain or anything? So was that Enrique, was that Was that a 10 count box or a 20 count box? Okay. Thank you, Guns. I appreciate that. Right on. Yeah, hot and dry. Yeah, we've had a bunch of bad storms and shit up here, and it's been pretty crazy. 20 count box. Well, right on. Yeah, this is definitely one that I could see myself, smoking 2 or 3 times a week at least. And I don't think it's like a LE or anything. I mean, it's got a little hype on it, right now because it's just a new blend from them, and everybody loves the Johnny Tobacconaut 10th anniversary. So, um, but comparatively, this is right up there with it. I don't think it's as good as the 10th, but it's damn close. Definitely a close second for sure. Enrique, you got any big plans for the weekend? You got anything fun you're gonna do? You hopefully you don't have to work or anything. Oh, did you? About burnt through your fucking about burnt through your cigar band because you're fucking around. Well, that happens sometimes, for sure. I know, dude. We were talking about that earlier, man. It's like, um, and I've seen a lot of people are even doing like, four packs, or 3 packs. You get like 2 3 packs or get a 4 pack, and that's plenty. You know what I mean? It's like gives you enough to actually enjoy the cigar and then move on to something else. And you're not sitting on a bunch of shit, and especially if you haven't tried it, and it's like, I need to get back to that point where I get the cigar, and if I really like it, then I'll think about buying a box. But I don't really need to. God, I got so many fucking good cigars to smoke on, and I just don't have the room anymore. You know what I mean? I just really don't. Oh, that's cool. That's always fun to look forward to. You know what I mean? Oh, you did? Oh shit, man! Using a torch and got a little close shave, did you? Well, that sucks. Done that before. That's one thing I like about smoking in the Death Star. I can always watch my flame pretty well. Of course, I've pretty much solely switched over to this fucking you know soft flame, double flame Calibri. Doesn't don't have to worry too much about flame getting me too awful bad. Now that's a great cigar. You know, uh, I like those little Gordos, man. Those ocean breezes are delicious. That's definitely uh, you know one of my favorite Lamperts for sure. Probably my top 3 Lamperts was that the the 2025 Limitada, and then the 2022 Limitada, the Salamone. That's a really good cigar too. I got one of those left, so, but that's a great stick for sure. And I've really been enjoying that fucking that Foundation 10th anniversary. Um, that Figurado or Salamone or whatever. I think it's called. I think it's a Figurado, but That's a damn good cigar. Um, I haven't smoked any Caldwell, so I'm not familiar with them at all. I'm sure down there in Miami, you got access to way more shit than most people can get their hands on. I would kind of like to try, um, uh, Stephen did that special blend for Shawnicus Relief cigars. They did a special blend specifically for them. I'd like to get my hands on a couple of those and try them. I bet that's a good Lampert blend for sure. Right on. Yeah, I like that. Like that 10th. You like it? Well, that's good. I may have to try a Caldwell. Oh man, I know I am gonna sleep like a fucking lead pipe tonight. 60 some odd hours at work this week, and been getting up so early. Should have been clocking in at like 5 a.m., 6 a.m. every day this week. So tomorrow I'll sleep in and I'll get up at 6:30. You know, that's kind of where I'm at, man. If I'm really sleeping in, it's like 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock for me is like super sleeping in. And hell, a lot of nights I'll go lay in bed with Brenda at like 6:30 or 7 o'clock and watch TV for an hour and then pass out. So pretty good deal. But yeah, definitely really liking this. It's pretty damn good. Just about done with this thing too. I need to get the old. It's definitely hemo worthy though. I'll tell you that. I'm definitely gonna fucking put the hemostats on this one and finish it up. And just about right on track. These last few shows, about 3.5 hours. That's about perfect. You know what I mean? 3.5 hour show right in there. Just long enough to enjoy a couple of sticks and have a good enough time, and then shit. Then I'm because I start the show at 8:30 here Central, so it's like it'll be coming up on midnight, and that's about good. Yeah, I agree, Enrique. In fact, a lot of those days where I know that I want to wake up and have a nice, Connecticut or something, and or a good, mild cigar with a big old cup of coffee, big pour over, and I'll find myself getting up early just so that I can come down in the Death Star and sit, and I don't even want to fucking watch the news. I don't do anything. I kick on the system and just listen to some pleasant, calm music and sit there and smoke and kind of get my head right for the day, enjoy my coffee. Right on. Well, I mean, what do you expect from a Perdomo? pretty much most of this shit that I've smoked is like that. I really can't wait to try that father and son Maduro. I think that sumbitch is going to be really good. But I think I'm going to hang on to that for 5 or 6 months before I bust that sumbitch out and try it for sure. But for a 70 ring gauge, you know, if it's doing you that good, then it's definitely worth a try in my book. I'll definitely have to get me at least one and try it anyway, for sure. Yeah, and I mean there shouldn't be any problem getting them when they actually release. You know, I got mine from Ken with Chief of the Leaf. He got some from that two guys pre-release party that they had, and sent me one of them. Thank you, Ken, for that. And you know, probably going to be one that I'll probably want to end up buying a box of those for sure, because I'm certain I'll like it. Boy, it looks really good, and it's a cool Vitola, and just man, you just look at it, and it's it's a cigar, man, really really good. Yeah, yeah, it's it's gonna go, but they'll be around, and I got a lot of good trading stock. I got stuff that's good and rare, and shit that I got a ton of that I'm sure I'll be able to trade up with people on. You know what I mean? For sure. But well, I think I'm about done, guys. I'm about spent, getting tired. This thing's done me really well. Want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out with me again tonight. Always does my heart good to hang out with my friends and just have some good bullshit sessions, and um, you know now you got some more daggers. Those are good. Those are a great little take to work stogie for sure. I definitely like that. Yep, thanks for coming in, guys. I really appreciate you. Ron, thanks for coming, bro. Appreciate it. Let's try to plan on getting together soon, brother. I'll be down at some point in the next couple of weeks. I'll be down for sure. So we'll try to fucking hook up and go hit some shit at the spot. But everybody, enjoy your weekend with family, and just enjoy some good food and some good sticks and some relaxation and stuff. And glad you made it. It's another great Freaky Friday. So until next time, guys, peace.
Thanks for watching the Old Fogies Stogies.